Hey everybody, it's Tammy from Married and Naked, and since I've told you I'm a little bit camera shy, I thought I'd bring in my expert husband here who is very comfortable on camera to maybe do a little interview. It takes a little bit of that pressure off me and gives you an opportunity to see this beautiful face here that is also behind Married and Naked. So this is Joel, my husband, Mr. Green.
I love that, expert husband. I like that. That is awesome. That's what I want to put at the top of anything I put out there. Expert husband. I love it. Wow. So this is so fun. I'm not camera shy. I have no problem being in front of the camera. So I get to actually do some interviewing with my wife. This is awesome. All right, Tammy, I'm sure the Married and Naked community out there has lots of questions for you. So I want you to share with us why you started Married and Naked, the blog.
Well, all of everything in my whole life has to do with this man here. We met when we were 11 years old, and ever since then it has been he and I. And we got married at like 23, when we were 23, almost 24. Mm-hmm. And as every married couple does, we had challenges, right? We had a lot of challenges come our way. Specifically, probably after we had kids, things start to get a little bit harder, as many of you know. And we started to go downhill a little bit, and we got to a place where it was a little bit scary, where we weren't sure what was going to happen, or I say a lot, if I was going to make it to our happily ever after. And I started to begin to question whether or not I could see that far ahead of our future. And we started to work on our marriage, and along the way, as I've shared with you, I had as you know, I had a lot of, I call them epiphanies. You don't necessarily like that word, but that's kind of what they were to me. They were these light bulbs that went off in learning how to improve our marriage. These things that happened that gave me some guidance as to strategies that I could use and that we could use to improve our marriage. And so I began to implement some of those, not necessarily even with your knowledge. I was just kind of in my own head, I'm going to try this and see how it works. And over the course of a year and a half, we saw this massive transformation in our marriage. And it wasn't until after that that I decided, I had always wanted to write, but I decided on my birthday I was going to give myself a birthday present, and I went and got a hotel room just for me. Nothing romantic. It was me and my computer, and I decided that night that I was going to start a blog, because not only did I want to write, but more importantly, I felt like I had something to share. And what I had to share was how our relationship transformed. And I realized looking back that there were 4 key strategies, ingredients that we used to make that transformation happen, and that we continue to use till this day. So that's how Married and Naked started. I felt like I wanted to share everything that I learned with everybody else, because if it helped us, it could certainly help thousands of couples out there.
You know, Tammy, you've read numerous other blogs, other books, listened to experts on the topic. I mean, obviously, you've completely immersed yourself in the relationship business. I mean, you know, the business of relationship. You've completely immersed yourself. Do you feel like sometimes when people read your stuff or watch your videos that, oh, she says she has it all figured out, but does she really? Here's my question. Do you have it all figured out?
Absolutely not. I do not have it all figured out. And I hope that that's what comes across, and why people do tune into Married and Naked, because I have shared the honest struggles that we have and that we continue to have. We don't have it all figured out. I think that if you think you have it all figured out in marriage or in life, that something's wrong, because there's always something to learn and grow. And if that stops, then something's not quite right. We certainly don't have it all figured out. We still have arguments. We still have all kinds of challenges.
Us? What?
That we're trying to work through. I am not perfect at all. I have my highs and lows. I am just an everyday wife, mom, just like you. I'm no different. And you're an everyday husband. We're just like every other couple out there. And I think that that's kind of why people appreciate Married, because I'm not, a psychologist or a doctor. I'm not coming from that perspective. I'm coming from the perspective of, this is truth. This is actual experience. This is not something I'm pulling out of a book. This is pulling out of our home and our everyday life,
Going through this journey with you, obviously, I know we had our, as with any marriage, you get married and everything is just, whoa, yeah. And then the realization of life happens, and then you struggle and you struggle, and then you get to those whoa, yeah, and then you struggle. And then for us, we were doing okay on that journey, and then it just started to get, it just started to really pull at both of us. Of course, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but it's true. You weren't sharing with me everything, the changes that you were making in our relationship. And it's not like you were doing it behind my back, but you were doing it more personally. Like these changes were happening to you.
Well, I think one of the things that I've discovered because as you get older, you start to be I at least have started to be very introspective and really analyze myself and trying to be the best person that I can be. And one of the things that I feel I've discovered is that change starts from within me. That if I want something to change, I need to be the one to make that happen. So that's why I wasn't saying, okay, babe, I'm gonna be accountable now. I was just like, okay, I need to start working on this personally. And as I did that, I saw that you were receptive to that, and that naturally you had an inclination to do the same thing, even though it wasn't words. Hey, babe, you need to be more accountable. It was in your head thinking, oh, at least that's, I'm assuming, what happened.
Yeah.
I'm starting to work on myself. You see that, and naturally there's this desire to want to do the same. So anyway, I'm not sure where you were heading with that after, but that was my little digression. I believe that change starts from within. So that's why I wasn't, outward necessarily. But we talked about it then I started to see change happening, and then I started sharing, this is what I'm working on, and I'm seeing that it's being helpful, and then you got on board, and then, it obviously change happens faster after that point. But
I'm sure you hear from a lot of your fans or people who write to you or reach out to you, but I'm so afraid my spouse isn't going to want to make these changes. Do you hear that kind of talk?
I do. I hear that often, that I believe that a healthy, happy relationship is a two-way street. But I also understand that everybody has a different way of handling things or dealing with things in their relationship. And, not every husband is like you. You tend to be kind of on board and ready to go with things that we want to try and learn. And I understand that that's not true for everybody. That doesn't mean not every husband's going to feel that way. Not every wife is going to feel that way. I've definitely heard that from husbands too. I've tried this with my wife. It's not working, or she's not receptive to it. I get that. But again, I still feel that if you want something to change in your relationship, you need to, rather than looking to your spouse for what's wrong or what needs to be changed, to look within instead. So if you're seeing something happening in your relationship that you're not happy with, look to yourself to see, what am I doing to contribute to that situation? What am I doing? And start working on that change. Or if you're feeling unhappy, what's going to make me feel happier? Start working on yourself personally.
Sure.
And then I believe change begins to happen on the outside.